Lindsay. We are going to do the reading for water signs for the month of November 2025. As always, if any of these readings don't align for you, please take only what you need and leave the rest. I'm starting with the general reading. We had two cards off the top. We have the Observer, and then we have the Loyal Heart. The Loyal Heart. You've been watching someone, water signs, and this is like feeling like very much romantic. I'm getting Pisces first off the bat, even though this is a general part of the reading. You've been watching someone or someone's been watching you. I was going to do a general reading, but this is Pisces. So we're just going to listen to what is happening here, and we're going to start with the Pisces reading. Yeah. So this is specifically going to be Pisces. Number 35, Loyal Heart, as I said. 28, Building Blocks. 49, The Observer. So it's almost like you've been watching someone or someone's been watching you, and they are known to you. This is a romance reading that's coming through. There's interest there. There's like this spark of interest there, as far as it's almost like your energy, they can feel your energy and you can also feel theirs. And it's this unspoken interest, which is really fascinating. What I'm seeing is either seeing this person as you're out and about, coffee shop type energy. So if this is someone who maybe works behind the counter at a specific place, works in customer service, or you work in customer service, they would be like your regular, like someone you see all the time, and there is this level of interest there. And I do see the way that it's coming through, Pisces, is that they are a loyal person. They are also a grounded person in the way that they're coming through. They're quiet. This is a very specific reading. I usually don't get this specific. Tell me I'm not psychic. Tell me I'm not psychic. So I feel like you may be the louder one. It's louder, you know, you're a little more talkative, and the other person is quiet. That can be the opposite, but I do feel like the other person is definitely like a quieter, more introverted type of energy. It can also be someone who works with their hands, someone who is in construction, someone who, it's almost like they work, if they're not the person behind the counter, they work in a trade. Okay. They work in a trade that can be obviously male or female, but they work very specialized work. Okay. Okay, so we have the Orphan card, Pisces, and they're coming out of like some type of heartbreak. I don't feel like it's necessarily you. I feel like it's them. I feel like part of this loner kind of aspect that they have going on is because a lot of the people who were originally around them, this can also include family members, have essentially orphaned them. You know, they're not talking to them. They've lost a lot of their support system, right? So that's where this kind of loner, introverted aspect comes into them, because the people who they trusted to support them no longer support them for whatever reason. And so I definitely think that also gives to, you know, being cautious in a romantic aspect and, you know, making any sort of moves towards you. But they're interested. They're very, very interested. So it may even take you, Pisces, actually being the one to make that move, because you are supposed to co-create with this person. You're supposed to kind of, there's something that you're supposed to do, and it's not just romantically together, Pisces, that's coming through. And I also get that both of you together, you get the Clean It Up card, number 21. The both of you together are helping each other clean up your energetic background. So anything romantically, anything in relationship that has happened to the both of you, you're together, it's a healing relationship. I'm also getting the color green. I don't know if that's green eyes, but I'm seeing like somebody wearing a green shirt, but it's specifically like a green work shirt. As I said, I already said something with, you know, this being around a cafe or a customer service working job where they come in pretty regularly. It's either you going in or them coming in, and they make a point to come in to see you, or you make a point to come in to see them, right? So that very much feels like this type of energy. Okay, any last info for Pisces? You're going to have a lot of very serendipitous meetings if you haven't already, or in conversation, you're going to have very serendipitous conversation where you're basically speaking the same language. And, you know, they'll say something and it'll like trigger something in you where you're like, oh, that's weird, right? Okay, so that's how you know. That's the confirmation, Pisces. So I think that's a pretty good reading for that sign. So we're going to go into... we're in our water signs. Who is next? Water signs. Scorpio. We're going to go into Scorpio. And I really love this deck. This is one of the first decks I ever worked with. This is the Wisdom of the Oracle deck by Colette Baron Reed. Scorpio. I just keep hearing that word fondant. Like, you know, like what you put on a cake to decorate it? I don't know what that means. So I don't know if you work in a bakery or there's something with decorating. It's so strange. Scorpio. Chop wood and the Fates. Okay. So Scorpio, for your reading, these cards are beautiful. Look at that. For your reading, it's very much talking about continuing to do what you're doing, your daily grind, and don't do anything extravagant because the Fates are lining things up for you in your life. And again, I think this is romantic. I feel like the water signs this month, November, are all romance kind of associated. So it's like someone who I'm hearing come back around. Somebody's coming back around. So especially if you originally had a friendship with somebody, and they're coming back around, they're reaching out again, they've done some growing, and you're just supposed to keep doing what you're doing. You're not supposed to it's not in your place to act upon this. It's in their place to act upon it, because it's almost like a requirement of the Fates themselves. This person, it's something within their contract, their soul contract, that they have to be the one to reach out and kind of cross that boundary. Yeah, they're going to be telling truths. So they're basically going to say, coming in oh, I've always had feelings for you. And you're like, really? Okay, sure. Yeah. And this is the same one we got in Pisces. We got the Loyal Heart card, number 32. So water signs, it's really about romance. Can we get any specific on the Scorpio? I see you. Okay. There's something about mountains or I think I said this in one of the other readings, something about cabins, mountains, but there's also lake regions. But what I'm seeing is on, it's either Europe or it's almost like Oregon. Not Oregon, maybe Oregon, Washington State, or Alaska. It's very specific, but that's the kind of energy that I'm getting from it. It could also be in a mountainous region in Europe. It's giving living and or working in a mountainous region, being my plant. So this is weird. This plant kind of moves sometimes, and there's nothing that's moving it. And I know I've seen people do that thing where they ask the plants to touch them or something like this. This is my Lily, and she's very energetic. Anyways, we're getting distracted. There is something, Scorpio, with you almost being in a space where, like, living in an area where it's not heavily populated, living in an area where, and this is going to be specific, so this is confirmation for somebody very specific. You're living in an area that's not heavily populated. It's wooded. It has lakes. It has water, but it's not the ocean. It's like lake kind of. Guys, and this person is coming back. This person is reaching out to you, but it is on them to reach out to you, and this is the card that you get. It's somebody you already know. Soulmates. This is literally Pisces reading. You guys are having the same reading. And the energy for this person, hang on. I'm getting an air sign. They could be an air sign. Yeah, it's very, very interesting. But they are going to be reaching out if they haven't already. And it's almost like you strike up a conversation together, and like you pick up where you left off. It's very easy communication. But there's something else happening here within the communication where there's a sharpness to the communication, which, okay, so the opportunity and or the warning around if this does happen, the two of you may very quickly fall into like conversation where you're texting every night, or like that type of energy where you're constantly talking to each other. And I think the recommendation that's coming in here is to not constantly be talking to each other. Like, do check in, do share some things about your day, all this, but like don't have it be a 24/7 conversation, because that's very easily like to get into like very attached very quickly. So the recommendation that's coming through is, set boundaries around the conversation as far as like, what times you can talk and things like that, just to maintain a healthy balance, because you are still, as we said, doing your daily life, doing the things you need to do. And they are also, and I think it would show in a positive way for you to enforce your boundaries. Like, they would take that as a very positive affirmation that they're interested in you, basically. Yeah, so Scorpio, Pisces, Scorpio. I'm gonna blank on the third water sign. You guys tell me. Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. Thank you. Okay. Cancer. And I have a feeling this is all going to be romance. So we're just going to do the romance. I'm going to do the Neon Tarot. I may come back to the other one, but I'm going to do the Neon Tarot for Cancer. Somebody left you, Cancer? It doesn't feel like you left somebody. Somebody left you. Somebody left you. They may have ghosted you, but they may have also had some other things going on that they just could not even speak about, which, you should never ghost anyone either way if you have a lot going on. Cancer. You're in like this really solemn era of emotion. Like, it's giving very solemn. Okay. Yeah. And this is definitely about romance again. So you had the Tower. You had the Tower reversed. Then you had the Two of Cups. So the Two of Cups is romance, it's partnership, things like that. Then you have the Nine of Pentacles, and then you have the Five of Cups. So to me, this is, again, as we were saying, someone having something happen to them and not speaking about it, or being afraid to speak about it, and they just kind of like let the relationship taper off into nothing. Like, they don't really respond. They respond sometimes, but they're not really going after the relationship with you And you're just standing over here with all your pentacles like, okay, what's happening? The person walked away, right? The way it's coming through is that they had something very serious going on, and you know, whether or not you do, you should always communicate with that, with a person, being like, hey, I have this going on, I can't do this right now, you know, I'm trying to make my way through whatever's happening to me. You should always communicate. And so I'm not making excuses for this person, Cancer, but I do think they had some very heavy stuff going on, and I do think that you are still on their mind. But it's not up to you to reach out. It's not. It's up to them to reach out and apologize for not speaking to what was happening with them, and, you know, giving you an explanation. So I think for right now, the way it's coming in, Cancer, is very much laying, you know, you got the Hanged Man as well. You got the Hanged Man upside down. You were waiting for them. You were waiting for them to say something, and they still haven't. And in some ways, they know they fucked that up. Okay, so they may, they may speak in the future. They may take hold and like speak in the future, but it's really up to you whether or not you're going to come back and like, you know, reignite that connection, because that is such a huge oversight, right? So anytime anyone is unable to communicate, I can't even communicate, that's what, I can't communicate, so this is what it is. It doesn't matter what you're going through. If you have been pursuing a romantic relationship with someone and you can't take a minute and a half, unless you are like comatose, right? Unless you've been in an accident and you're not even in your, you know, in your body, in your brain, if something has happened to you so severely that you can't actually communicate, okay. But if you can't take a minute and a half to send a text to someone and be like, hey, I can't do this right now, I'm gonna reconnect with you, that shows to me a lack of maturity, a lack of empathy, a lack of emotional intelligence, right? It takes very little to inform someone what's going on with you, right? And it's a respectful thing, because if you're in a relationship, I think most people would hope that someone would inform them if something was happening, right? So it's an equal respect. You know, I'll inform you, you inform me, and we can go from there. So if someone ghosts you, that's childlike behavior. That's not a fully grown adult. You know, if you can't talk to them, if you can't just give them a simple text and be honest that you're struggling, you're not sitting in your maturity, you're not sitting in your emotional intelligence, and you're not showing up as an adult. I don't care what's happening. Everybody has difficulties happening. It takes 2 minutes, right? And Cancer, I think in this case, if this is what happened to you in this relationship, you are completely valid in letting it go and continuing on your path. And they may come back, and again, that's up to you to really decide whether or not you are going to allow them back into your sphere. Okay? Very interesting reading. So that was the water signs for November 2025. Again, my name is Lindsey Rose. This is Storyteller Tarot. If you would like your own personal reading, please check out the links in bio. Otherwise, I wish you all well.